Today, I want to tell you a story. A story about a girl. A girl who was born in a rich family. But she did not choose an easy life. Her name was Florence Nightingale. She had everything: money, comfort, and a safe life. But her heart was not happy. She wanted to help people. She wanted to care for the sick. She wanted to change the world. But there was one big problem. In her time, people did not respect nurses. They thought nursing was a low job. Her family did not support her dream. So what did she do? Did she give up her dream? Or did she fight for it? This is not just a story. This is a story of courage, pain, and a strong heart. And this story might change the way you see your own dreams. Part 1. Childhood: the beginning of a different girl. Florence Nightingale was born in a rich family in England. She was born in the year 1820. Her parents had a big house. They had money, comfort, and a good life. Florence did not have to worry about food. She did not have to work. She had everything that many people could only dream of. But Florence was not like other girls. When she was a child, she was very quiet. She liked to think a lot. She liked to read books and learn new things. Her father taught her many subjects. She learned history, math, and languages. At that time, many girls did not study so much. But Florence was special. She was very kind. She always cared about people. One day, when she was young, she saw a poor man. The man was sick. He was lying on the road. Many people walked past him. No one stopped. But Florence stopped. She felt sad. Her heart was full of pain. She wanted to help him. She wanted to do something. That day, something changed inside her. She started to think, why are people suffering? Why is no one helping them? As she grew older, this feeling became stronger. She did not enjoy parties. She did not like dancing or rich life. Her family wanted her to be like other girls. They wanted her to wear nice dresses. They wanted her to marry a rich man. But Florence had a different dream. She wanted to help sick people. She wanted to care for them. At that time, being a nurse was not a good job. People did not respect nurses. They thought it was a low and dirty job. Her family did not like this idea. They said, "No, Florence, this is not for you. This job is not for a girl like you." Florence felt very sad. She loved her family. But she also loved her dream. Every night she thought about it. She could not sleep well. One night she sat alone in her room. It was quiet. She looked at the sky. She felt something deep in her heart. She believed that God was calling her. She believed she had a purpose, not to live a rich and easy life, but to help people, to care for the sick, to make a difference. From that moment, Florence made a decision. She would follow her dream, no matter what people say, no matter how hard it is. This was the beginning of a girl who would one day change the world. Part 2. A dream against the world. Florence Nightingale was growing up, but her heart was not changing. Every day she was thinking about the same dream. She wanted to help sick people. She wanted to become a nurse. But in her time, this was not a normal dream for a girl from a rich family. Her parents had a very different plan for her life. They wanted her to live a comfortable life, go to parties, meet rich people, and marry a good man. They believed this was the best life for her. But Florence did not feel happy when she thought about this life. One day, her mother talked to her. She said, "Florence, you are a smart and beautiful girl. You should live a good life. Nursing is not for you." Florence listened quietly. She respected her mother, but inside, she felt pain. She could not explain her feelings. She only knew one thing: her heart was calling her to help people. She tried to forget her dream, but she could not. Every time she saw a sick person, her heart became heavy. As time passed, the pressure from her family became stronger. Her father also said, "Florence, this job is not respected. People will not understand you." Her parents were worried about their family name. They did not want people to talk badly about them. In that society, nurses were not respected. Many people thought it was a dirty job. Rich families did not allow their daughters to do this kind of work. Florence understood all of this, but her dream was stronger than fear. There was also another problem in her life. A man wanted to marry her. He was rich, kind, and educated. Her family was very happy about this. They thought this was the perfect life for Florence. They said, "This is your future. You will be happy." Florence tried to think about it. She knew that if she said yes, her life would be easy. She would have a big house, a good husband, and no struggles. But deep in her heart, she knew this was not her path. For many nights, Florence could not sleep. She walked alone in her room. She asked herself again and again, "What should I do?" She loved her family, and she did not want to hurt them. But she also knew that if she left her dream, she would never be truly happy. One day, she made a very difficult decision. She said no to the marriage. Her family was shocked. They could not understand her choice. They felt disappointed and worried about her future. After this, life became harder for Florence. Her family did not support her dream. Sometimes they became angry. Sometimes they tried to stop her again and again. But Florence stayed strong. She did not fight with loud words. She stayed calm, but inside, she was very strong. She believed that her life had a purpose. She believed that helping sick people was her true calling. Even when no one supported her, she did not give up. She started to learn about hospitals and care. She read books and tried to understand how to help people. She knew the road would be long and difficult. But she was ready. This was not just a dream anymore. This was her mission, and she was ready to follow it, no matter how hard the journey would be. Part 3. The first step into nursing. Florence Nightingale did not give up on her dream. Even when her family did not support her, she stayed strong. She knew her life had a purpose. She wanted to help sick people, and she was ready to learn how to do it. At that time, it was not easy to become a nurse. There were no good schools for nurses in England. Many hospitals were dirty and unsafe. Nurses did not have proper training. Many people still thought nursing was a low job. But Florence did not stop. She wanted to learn the right way. One day she heard about a place in Germany. It was a small training center for nurses. The place was simple, but it was clean. People there were serious about care and discipline. Florence felt this was the right place for her. She asked her family for permission to go. At first, her parents said no. They were afraid. They did not want her to live far away. They did not want her to work in hospitals. But Florence waited and stayed calm. She spoke with respect. She showed that she was serious. After some time, her father slowly agreed. It was not easy for him, but he could see her strong will. Florence traveled to Germany. It was a long journey. When she arrived, everything was different from her home. There were no big rooms or rich food. Life was simple and strict. But Florence was happy. She finally had a chance to learn. Every day, she worked very hard. She woke up early in the morning. She cleaned rooms, washed beds, and helped sick people. She learned how to take care of patients. She learned how to keep things clean. She learned how to stay calm and kind. Sometimes, the work was very difficult. The rooms smelled bad. The patients were in pain. Some people cried. Some people were very weak. Florence felt sad when she saw them. But she did not run away. She stayed with them. She held their hands. She spoke in a soft voice. She believed that care was not only about medicine, it was also about kindness. It was about being there for someone when they feel alone. This idea became very important in her life. Other people at the training center started to notice her. They saw her hard work. They saw her discipline. She was not like others. She was focused and serious. She wanted to do everything in the best way. After some time, Florence became very good at her work. She learned many new skills. She understood how a hospital should be clean and organized. She saw how small changes could help save lives. When her training was finished, Florence returned to England. She was not the same girl anymore. Now, she was trained. She was ready. She had knowledge, strength, and a clear goal. But her journey was not over. In fact, a much bigger challenge was waiting for her. Very soon, a war would begin. And that war would change everything. Part 4. The War That Changed Everything. Florence Nightingale was back in England, but her journey was not over. She had learned many things, and now she wanted to use her knowledge to help more people. At that time, something very serious was happening. A big war had started. It was called the Crimean War. Many soldiers were going to fight. Many were getting hurt. Many were getting sick. But the biggest problem was not only the war. The biggest problem was the hospitals. The hospitals were very dirty. They were not safe. There was no clean water. There were not enough beds. Many soldiers were lying on the floor. The rooms smelled very bad. There were insects everywhere. Doctors were trying to help, but they did not have enough support. More soldiers were dying in the hospital than on the battlefield. When Florence heard this, she felt deep pain in her heart. She knew she had to do something. She could not stay quiet. This was the moment she was waiting for. One day, the British government asked for help. They needed someone strong and smart. They needed someone who could take care of the soldiers. Florence said yes. She did not feel fear. She only felt a strong duty. She quickly prepared herself. She chose a group of nurses to go with her. There were about 38 women. Many people were surprised. Some people even laughed. They said, "Women cannot do this work in a war." But Florence did not listen to them. She traveled with her team to the war area. When they arrived, the situation was worse than she imagined. The hospital was full of sick and injured soldiers. There was no order. There was no system. Everything was messy. Florence looked around, and she understood one thing very clearly. If nothing changed, more people would die. So she started to work immediately. First, she cleaned the hospital. She opened windows for fresh air. She made sure the rooms were washed. She asked for clean water and clean clothes. She worked day and night. At first, some doctors did not like her. They did not want to listen to a woman. They thought she would fail. But Florence did not argue. She showed her work with action. Slowly, things started to change. The hospital became cleaner. The air became fresh. The soldiers started to feel better. The number of deaths began to go down. Florence also cared deeply about the soldiers' feelings. Many soldiers were far from home. They felt lonely and afraid. Florence sat with them. She talked to them. She listened to their pain. Every night, when everything was quiet, Florence walked through the hospital with a small lamp in her hand. She checked on every patient. She made sure they were okay. The soldiers saw her light in the dark. They felt hope. They felt that someone cared. This was a turning point, not just for Florence, but for the whole world, because what she was doing was changing nursing forever. Part 5. The Lady with the Lamp. Florence Nightingale was now working day and night in the war hospital. Her life was not easy. Every day, she saw pain, sickness, and death. Many soldiers were very weak. Many were afraid. Some of them thought they would never go home again. The hospital was still a hard place, even after some changes. But Florence did not stop. She stayed strong, calm, and kind. During the day, she worked with her team. She checked the rooms. She made sure the beds were clean. She asked for fresh air and clean water. She helped the doctors and guided the nurses. She wanted everything to be better. She believed that a clean place could save lives. She believed that small changes could make a big difference. Slowly, the hospital became more organized. The soldiers started to feel safer. But the most special time was the night. At night, everything became quiet. The noise became low. Many soldiers were lying in their beds, thinking about their homes. Some were in pain. Some were crying softly. Some were too weak to speak. It was a dark and lonely time. But Florence did something different. Every night, she took a small lamp in her hand. Then she walked slowly through the long hospital halls. Step by step, she moved from one bed to another. She stopped near each soldier. She looked at them with care. She spoke in a soft and gentle voice. Sometimes she gave water. Sometimes she fixed a blanket. Sometimes she just stayed there in silence. For the soldiers, this small moment meant everything. When they saw her light in the dark, they felt hope. They felt peace. They felt that they were not alone. Many soldiers kissed her shadow as she passed. They loved her deeply. They respected her. They trusted her. They started to call her a special name, the Lady with the Lamp. This name was not just a title. It was a symbol of love, care, and light in the darkness. Florence did not do this for fame. She did not do this to be known. She did it because her heart told her to care. She believed that every human life was important. She believed that kindness could heal pain. Even when she was very tired, she did not stop. Her body was weak, but her spirit was strong. She continued her work every single night. She gave hope to people who had lost everything. Because of her, many soldiers survived. Because of her, many people felt comfort in their hardest time. Florence showed the world something very powerful. She showed that one person, with a kind heart, can bring light into the darkest place. And her light was changing lives, one night at a time. Part 6. Changing the System. Florence Nightingale did not only care for soldiers, she also started to think in a bigger way. She asked herself a simple question: why are so many people dying? She saw that many soldiers were not dying from their wounds. They were dying because the hospital was dirty, crowded, and unorganized. This made her think deeply. Florence believed that something must change. She knew that kindness was important, but it was not enough. The system itself was broken, so she decided to fix it. Every day, she observed everything carefully. She looked at the rooms, the beds, the water, and the food. She noticed that there was no proper system. There were no clear rules. Everything was messy. So she started to make small changes. First, she focused on cleanliness. She made sure that the floors were cleaned every day. She asked for clean sheets and fresh clothes. She told the workers to wash everything regularly. She opened windows so that fresh air could come inside. These simple changes started to reduce sickness. Then, she worked on organization. She arranged the beds in a better way. She made space between patients. She created a routine for the nurses. Everyone had a job, and everyone followed a system. This made the hospital more calm and more effective. Florence also paid attention to food. She saw that many soldiers were not eating well, so she worked to improve their meals. She wanted them to have healthy food so they could become strong again. One of the most important things she did was to collect information. She wrote everything down. She counted how many soldiers were sick, how many were dying, and why they were dying. She studied these numbers very carefully. This helped her understand the real problems. Many people were surprised by her work. At that time, not many people used data like this, but Florence believed that numbers could tell the truth. And she was right. Because of her changes, something amazing started to happen. The death rate began to go down. More soldiers were getting better. More soldiers were surviving. The hospital became a safer place. Even the doctors who did not support her at first started to respect her. They saw her results. They saw the difference she was making. Florence showed that nursing was not just about care. It was also about thinking, planning, and leading. She became not only a nurse, but also a leader. Her work in the war became an example for others. People started to understand that clean hospitals and good systems could save lives. Florence proved something very powerful. She showed that change is possible, even in a very hard situation. Even when people do not believe in you, all you need is a strong mind, a kind heart, and the courage to act. And Florence had all of these. Part 7. A legacy that changed the world. Florence Nightingale returned to England after the war, but she was not the same person anymore. Now, many people knew her name. They respected her work. They saw how she helped soldiers and saved lives. But Florence did not stop. She did not think her work was finished. In fact, she believed her real work was just beginning. Florence started to speak about hospitals. She told people that hospitals must be clean, organized, and safe. She explained that fresh air, clean water, and good care are very important. She used her knowledge and her experience from the war. She also used the information she collected. She showed the numbers to prove her ideas. People listened to her because she had real results. After some time, she did something very special. She started a school for nurses. This was a big change in history. Before this, there were no proper training schools for nurses. But Florence wanted nurses to learn the right way. She wanted them to be skilled, disciplined, and kind. In her school, students learned how to care for patients. They learned how to keep hospitals clean. They learned how to stay calm in difficult situations. Florence believed that nursing was a noble job. She wanted the world to respect it. Slowly, things started to change. More people began to respect nurses. More hospitals followed her ideas. More lives were saved. Florence also continued to write books and reports. She shared her knowledge with the world. Even when she became older and weak, she did not stop working. She stayed focused on her mission. She did not care about fame. She did not care about money. She only cared about helping people. Because of her, nursing became a respected profession. Because of her, hospitals became safer. Because of her, millions of lives were saved over time. Florence Nightingale showed the world a powerful truth. You do not need to be born in a poor life to understand pain. You do not need to follow society to be successful. You only need a strong heart and a clear purpose. She chose a difficult path. She faced rejection. She worked in pain and darkness. But she never gave up. And because of that, she changed the world. So now, think about your own life. Do you have a dream? Do people tell you no? Do you feel afraid sometimes? Remember Florence. If she can do it, you can do it too. Start small. Stay strong. And never leave your dream. Because one day, your story can also change the world.